Welcome to Almost Here, Round the Corner Future Technology podcast with Richard Jacobs. Future technologies poised to transform our lives for better or worse are the focus of this podcast. Almost here means these technologies are now here and starting to be used, or just around the corner, from Bitcoin to artificial intelligence, 3D printing, blockchain, virtual reality, and more.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Future Tech Podcast. I'm your host, Juliette Lamar, and joining me today is Chris Smith. He is the CEO at Phix Solutions Group. Welcome, Chris.
Hey, thanks, Juliette. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, we're so excited to hear about what you guys are up to over at Phix. So for our listeners, go ahead and give them an overview of Phix Solutions and what you guys do there.
Yeah, so we're a small team of marketing technologists, developers, designers, copywriters, strategists, videographers, digital media experts, and our people are based all over the U.S. We have traditionally, since our inception in 2011, worked with Fortune 500 firms, really doing special growth projects aside their general agencies. For example, we've done BP Olympics activations, financial literacy tours for TIAA, a Fortune 50 financial services firm. We've done product launch strategies for companies like LG Electronics. Very, very custom work. We generally never really compete with anyone. We've really acquired our customers through word of mouth. So basically, people think of us as a think tank and a skill team. Most of our people are, we don't really have many people on the team that are newbies to the space. Most everyone on the team has 15, 20 years plus experience. So, we're excited about working with companies that are cool and brands that are doing something meaningful. Or projects that are meaningful. So that's kind of what gets us excited.
Do you have any projects that you'd like to share with us that perhaps are public that maybe would give us a really good idea of some use cases?
Yeah. I'll give you a couple of examples. One, a client, and two, a project we're working on that I'm really excited about. We got into the blockchain category a couple years ago. Working with a leading fintech company on growth strategy and growth consulting. What's exciting about that is when I got into business, when I got out of college, I worked for Monster.com's parent company, and it was called TNT Worldwide. And we were the largest Yellow Page ad agency in the world. And we had acquired a digital ad agency to help the Monster.com brand. And what the plan was, is my job was to go promote, educate CMOs of Fortune 500 companies what the internet was and how they could start leveraging the internet, for as part of their media mix. And so what I'm excited about blockchain, and specifically our client, they're a leading blockchain payments company called BitPay, is this whole blockchain movement, in my opinion, is Internet 2.0. It's going to be so transformative on business around the world. It's going to completely change the financial system. So we've been really partnered with them and other companies like them on really helping them scale their businesses globally. In many cases, blockchain companies are run by engineers and not necessarily marketing and sales experts. And so what we really do is we come in and, we help companies like BitPay and others really put systems in place, get the insights in place, get the technology quivers in place, identify gaps in growth, get market research, competitive research, understand the nuances of the markets that they're trying to approach to help them scale quickly. Companies specifically that are getting A and B capital rounds are expected to grow quickly. They have a large total addressable market, and we help companies accomplish that and scale quickly. So really excited about that. And then a project we're doing organically that I'm really excited about is we've decided to partner with a leading financial conference producer called JV Events Group. And the founder of the company, Don Friedman, had previously been the COO of ETF.com and ran the largest ETF conference in the world. We decided to partner up with JV Events Group to produce the Digital Asset Strategy Summit. And it's in October 16th and 17th in Dallas, Texas. And basically what it is, you hear about blockchain and cryptocurrency conferences almost every day now. It's like you'd be blind to not see the madness going around conferences. What's unique about ours is it's an event for institutional investors to specifically learn about cryptocurrency and this new alternative asset class. We're excited about that because, really for digital assets to become adopted, the institutional investors, and when I say institutional, I mean RIAs, hedge funds, private equity firms, family offices, endowments. In order for this currency to really take flight, those professional investors, Wall Street, really needs to get involved. And in our event, what's interesting about it is we have some of the brightest blockchain thought leaders from the research category, from the investor category, and just some of these technology leaders and venture capital leaders are coming to help educate our audience of allocators or institutional investors what this new alternative asset class is all about. So I'm extremely excited about that.
Oh, it sounds fantastic. And where can people, I guess, find out more about it, sign up, and if they can't make it, are there any ways that people can still be involved?
Yeah, so the Twitter handle for the conference is @attend-DASS, DASS. They can also go to the website, digitalassetstrategysummit.com, and they can register right there online on the website.
That is such a great event. And, I love that these conferences bring together the minds. And I wonder, do you find a lot of solutions at these conferences just by sitting around, a round table and talking with people?
We've never produced a conference before. That's why we partnered up with JV Events Group. They're really the professional conference producers. We're really marketing hackers, marketing and sales hackers. And so the reason why we decided to do this event is we love blockchain. We love cryptocurrency. As I mentioned before, it reminds me of when I was in my early 20s, and I just turned 42 yesterday.
Happy birthday.
Yeah, thank you. It reminds me of the early days when the internet came out, and the professional marketers didn't understand what it was and what the use cases would be and how it would help them grow their business globally. That blockchain is basically Internet 2.0, and the reason is when we opened up communications to the world with the internet, the financial system never caught up, right? And the promise of blockchain and cryptocurrency, specifically Bitcoin, as being really that first cryptocurrency to come out, promises a lot of hope for people, especially those people that are underbanked in the world. And I just really love the value promise of this technology, being able to help people that, in many ways are oppressed by their governments. And, you hear about cases in India and in South America where, people have saved their lives, and next thing you know, the currency's not worth anything. They have all this paper that literally does nothing for them. And the promise of blockchain offers the ability for everyone in the world to take part in the financial system. And I really love the conscious capitalist impact that the technology can offer to the world. So, to answer your question specifically, though, we started working with blockchain companies a couple years ago, and so much has happened. Just in 2016, they were estimating that researchers were estimating there were about 3 million people that own Bitcoin in North America. And, 2017 took place, and now there's more than 40, some people are seeing 50 million people participating in cryptocurrency, in owning cryptocurrency. So I'm really excited about that. But again, that's just scratching the surface. And why, one of the, unique things about our conference is we're going to have the professional investors. One of our investors, which happens to be one of our keynote speakers, Rick Edelman, runs, just his firm alone manages $30 billion in assets under management. And so if you think about it, this room of people that we're going to have in October, they have the opportunity to contribute to this technology being adopted and offering promise to people around the world. I mean, in one room, we may have $100 to $200 billion in assets under management. And these people are going to learn from the leading thinkers on blockchain. I mean, we have Thomas Lee, the managing partner and co-founder of Fundstrat Global Advisors. You can see him on the news any night you turn on the TV talking about Bitcoin and what they're learning, through their research. We have Bart Stevens, a leading blockchain venture capital company. They're called Blockchain Capital. They raised, I think they have $250 million of assets under management, and all those assets are invested in blockchain companies. We have Mark Yusto, CIO and CEO of Morgan Creek Capital, big Wall Street guy. So, I mean, we just have some amazing people coming to the conference. And for me personally, I mean, the what's in it for Chris Smith and Phix to co-produce this conference, we just want to learn more. We want to dive in deeper, and, what a better way to do it than to just create your own conference and surround yourself around just really smart people.
Absolutely. There's, knowledge is power. And I think especially in this space where there is a lot of uncertainty, because it's the very beginning and maybe people are not able to do research as thoroughly, or if they do research, there's a lot of different conflicting facts. Going to a conference where there's going to be quality speakers, that it's a place of information, that's huge.
Yeah, no, we think it's unique. I mean, again, it's the institution. I mean, people aren't really allowed to attend our event unless they're an accredited investor, which basically means you're an individual and you make $200,000 a year and have $1 million in assets, not including your primary residence, or you have a joint household income of $300,000 and $1 million in assets, not including your primary residence, or you're an institutional investor, which means you're a professional investor. You're a licensed investor. That's what's unique is we're gathering those finance people that are in charge of money and in investing on behalf of people to learn about this currency. And we look at it as, really doing our part to help really move this adoption delta forward, to accelerate the process because we believe in the technology so much.
No, absolutely. And what's the biggest lesson that you've learned while working in this space that you'd like to share with our listeners?
In the blockchain space or just in what we do at Phix?
Either one, because I think both are so interesting. Maybe a little tidbit of both.
I'll just kind of go back a little bit. I mean, ever since I was a kid, wanted to be an entrepreneur. I came from a family of school teachers, and my dad, I'd always do side jobs with my dad, and he was a shop teacher, and he always felt a little bit like he was disappointed with the career path that he chose because he had an entrepreneurial bug in him, but he just never took chances. And, from an early age, I always said to myself, I'm not going to have regrets someday. And, as I said, I'm 42 now. I started a company when I got out of college and quickly went to the corporate world. It's a long story. Had an apartment fire, followed my girlfriend from college to Atlanta, and ended up working in the startup.com world, and did that for about almost a decade before I jumped off out of the corporate world. And so at this point in time, I've been an entrepreneur longer than someone that's worked for corporations. And I think the exciting thing that I've learned is that you just got to get up every day and work with people that you like, jump into categories and work with businesses that you're excited about. And if you do that, the grind, the learning that you have to learn, and I learn every single day, the grind isn't so bad because you're kind of digging what you're doing. And so the biggest lesson for me is, when things don't go my way, when a business strategy isn't working, I just dive into it deeper, and generally things have its way of working themselves out, and you feel fulfilled for the work that you're doing. And that goes for Phix Solutions. We're getting ready to roll out a new entity called Phix Global, and it's Phix Solutions. Over the years, since we started, we kind of had a very broad vision and mission, and it was to work with people we like, brands we're excited about, so we can have fun and give back to causes. And the value proposition, or to say it in a sentence of what we do, we connect brands to people, and we do that through research and strategy and activation, technology. But as I look into the future, we want to be in this blockchain category permanently. I've created a new entity that we haven't even technically rolled out called Phix Global. And we want to focus specifically with blockchain-only companies. We want to be very tight on who we work with, whereas we used to work with Fortune 500 companies. We'll continue to do that under the Phix Solutions brand. But what I've done is I've enlisted some experts that have also helped brands transform digitally and grow globally. I mean, the commonality of blockchain companies is they all have huge total addressable markets. It's the world. If they've been successful at raising financing, they're expected to scale quickly. And usually these founders haven't ever done it. They're just really smart technologists. And so I've brought on the ex-CIO of Coca-Cola for one of their regions in the world. I've brought on the ex-head of consulting from Marketo, a leading marketing automation company. I have a PR leader that's been doing it for 30 years that, like us, is focused on the blockchain category in the last 4 or 5 years. I've basically built a team for Phix Global to only focus on blockchain and to either assist the venture capital firms with doing due diligence and helping these companies they've invested in to scale their businesses, efficiently and effectively, or these founders of the companies that have found themselves with $40, $50, $100 million in financing, and they need staff, they need research, they need technology, and they need to do it quickly, and we can kind of help them do that the first time and not have to make mistakes. So I know I kind of evolved on that answer, but I'm learning every single day, and the biggest thing that I've learned is that you have to continually evolve and follow the things that make you excited.
Absolutely. I mean, that's the truth of it, is just living your own truth, because that's what you're going to work hardest at and what you're going to be most excited about. Well, Chris Smith, thank you so much for joining us here today and just sharing your passion and your insight into the industry, and hopefully a lot of our listeners will be able to attend your fantastic event coming up. I
hope so. Attend DAS is our Twitter handle for the conference, digitalassetstrategysummit.com. If you want to reach me personally, at Smith_BC. I'd love to hear from anyone that's listening to this podcast.
Absolutely, Chris. We'll have to have you go back on again, maybe after the conference, to do a little post-mortem about how it went.
That'd be awesome. Thank you so much.
Of course. Everyone, that was Chris Smith. He is the CEO at Phix Solutions Group. Check out their Twitter. Hopefully you all can join their conference and really bring your minds together. This has been Juliette Lamar with Future Tech Podcast. Thank you all so much for tuning in.
You have been listening to Almost Here, Around the Corner Future Technology Podcast with Richard Jacobs. Subscribe to this podcast, post a review to discover more future technologies that are poised to transform our lives for better or worse, such as Bitcoin, artificial intelligence, 3D printing, blockchain, virtual reality, and more.